A guy owing 1 billion yuan. Broke to the point of not even being able to scan a public sharing bike and ultimate blacklisted user. Yet at 3 a.m. he gets bombarded with 99 debt collection calls from the bank. What's even more absurd is that the person doing the loan paperwork on the bank's security cameras looks exactly like me. Even a court summons was delivered straight to the door of my 400 RMB rental room. My life is already down this bad, yet someone still wants to steal my identity. What exactly is that guy targeting? Is he targeting my massive debt, or is he targeting my poverty, Mr. Bai? Your 30 million RMB loan is overdue and unpaid. This has already constituted a severe breach of contract. If not handled in time, your credit history will be permanently blacklisted. Bro, I already owe a literal billion yuan. The banks blacklisted me ages ago. How else are you planning to blacken it all, layering black on top of black? Can you just let me get some sleep? What did you say? My credit is so black it's practically glowing. I can't even rent a public power bank. There's no way I can actually borrow any money. Then we require you to immediately come to the bank's headquarters for identity verification. Bro, next time you make a scam call, remember to investigate the background thoroughly. Don't call again. Only 30 million RMB, who are you looking down on? Wait a minute, an identity theft loan? Who the hell used my name to take out a loan? Side. I'm already down this bad, yet someone is still out here identity thefting me. I didn't expect someone to be even more shameless than me. At 7 a.m. the next morning, I finished eating my bun and headed back home, only to find a court summons pasted on the door. Tingshan Bank sues regarding the 30 million RMB loan due to being overdue and unpaid. Required to appear in court to face the lawsuit in 3 days. Signed, Tingshan Bank, a bank. The one I owe is the Galaxy Bank. I owe them 1 billion, and I haven't even seen them come looking for me. Can someone actually mess up this badly? Hello, Courtroom 20, Tingshan Bank Case Division speaking. I received the court summons. Regarding that case, Mr. Bai, fan correct. We require you to show up to court on time. Your Honor, I've decided to show up in court, but I have one request. Could you ask the plaintiff to call a taxi for me? Once I'm done with court, I'll pay him back when I get home. After all, I'm already in so much debt that I'm completely thick-skinned. You can walk or take public transit to get to the court. Bro, my credit is completely blacklisted. I can't even get a bus card. As for cash, I have exactly 2.5 RMB left. How about I just walk over there? It'll probably take about 4 hours of walking. You guys wait for me, okay? The other end of the line heard this and instantly hung up on the spot. I looked at the court summons. The more I looked, the more something felt off. Tingshan Bank. I've never done business with this bank before. Furthermore, I'm already on the blacklist like this, so who would use my name to go take out a loan? Is the risk control department of the bank completely useless? There's definitely a massive catch to this. I need to proactively call and ask to get things clear. Hello? Huaxia Credit Center speaking. How may I help you? Hello? I received a notice saying I took out a 30 million RMB loan. I want to double check what's going on. My ID number is... Mr. Bai, the system shows that under your name there is an unpaid loan valued at 30 million RMB. It is already 90 days overdue. If not handled in time, you will face travel bans, property purchasing restrictions, and high consumption restrictions. Bro, my highest consumption this morning was buying 2 buns for 3 RMB. I only have exactly 2.5 RMB left. What exactly are you guys planning to restrict me from? Restrict me from buying spicy sticks. Oh, right. Can you check for me? If my 1 billion yuan debt plus this 30 million RMB entitles me to apply for a VIP blacklist membership, like a Supreme Black card or something like that, let me be thoroughly blacklisted. Is there a point accumulation system? How much bad debt do I need to get a free gift? You are truly one of a kind in our system. Your status note says ultimate blacklisted user, completely beyond saving. I've been working here for 3 years, and this is the first time I've ever seen this note. So should I feel proud, I suggest you accept your grief. Suddenly I felt that this blacklisted status of mine is actually pretty badass. At 2 p.m., just as I lay down to take a nap, the door was violently kicked open. Who is it? Why so uncultured? There's no need to kick my door open. After all, it's not like there's any furniture to steal. Who are you guys? Tingshan Bank Debt Recovery Department Manager Zhou Hai. Zhou Hai in the streets, he's commonly known as the Iron-Faced Yama. Word is, the bad debt recovery rate through his hands is up to 80%. His methods aren't exactly clean, but they get results. Kid, if you don't pay back the 30 million RMB, don't even think about stepping out of this door. Bro, doesn't your bank do background checks on customers? Do you even know who I am, Bifon, 28 years old? 3 years ago, failed startup owes $1 billion yuan completely. Blacklisted. So you think owing another 30 million doesn't matter, right? Why? Damn, you did your homework well. Then do you know who the creditors of my 1 billion yuan are? Adding all the random ones together, it's easily over a dozen banks. Can your Tingshan Bank's 30 million RMB even get a spot in line vertical bar? Furthermore, your bank has to wait in line, okay? Wait until I finish paying the 1 billion in front before it's your turn. With my current repayment speed, I'll be paying about 100 RMB a year. You guys will probably have to wait about 10 million years. Be fine, you've got guts. Let's go. Wait a minute. Fix the door before you leave. This is a rented place and I haven't even gotten my deposit back yet. To squeeze money out of my hands, you're the first. Not bad, B-fan. This month's rent money is secured. Take care, I won't see you out, Tom. Tingshan Bank is in such a rush to demand this 30 million. Something is definitely sketchy. A blacklisted guy who already owes $1 billion yuan. Banks usually don't even bother to care about, because they know even if they demand it, they won't get anything. Yet not only did they come looking for me themselves, but they also brought along henchmen. There's definitely a catch to this. I turned on my computer, logged into an encrypted messaging software, and found the hacker Little Fat. Are you there? Help me look up something. Brother Fan, you finally proactively reached out to me. I thought you were already hacked to death by creditors. Besides, I once hacked the Pentagon, you know, pay. Yet you're only making me look up documents not dead yet. Someone is currently identity thefting you to borrow 30 million RMB. Help me check the operating IP of that account. Only 30 million. Is that it for someone who owes $1 billion yuan like you? You actually care about this amount. Of course I care because I'm being framed for this one, rather than me setting someone else up. The nature of the situation is completely different. Little Fat sent back a chain of 666 emojis. Less than 10 minutes later, Little Fat sent over an address and a string of screenshots. Brother Fan, I found it. The operating IP of that account comes from a luxury apartment complex, Yanjiang Haoyuan, Tower 12, Room 2801. Furthermore, there's something pretty interesting in the operation history. The identity information photo uploaded is exactly your scanned ID card. Brother Fan, I suspect someone got plastic surgery to look just like you and then used your identity to go borrow money. I'm already this down bad on luck, yet someone still went and got plastic surgery to look like me just to borrow money. What kind of grand spirit of self-sacrifice is this? Brother Fan, being a blacklisted user like you is way too pathetic. They're practically laughing in your face. This is what I call fighting fire with fire. I have to let him know what the absolute peak of bad luck feels like. You fake clone of mine, are you ready? Your daddy is coming for you. I took the 200 RMB I just squeezed out of Joe High, headed to the address Little Fat provided and started to stake out. I squatted by the flower bed opposite Yanjiang Haoyuan. In the evening, a black Mercedes C-Class drove up. The car door opened and a guy stepped down. Damn, that guy's face looks exactly like mine. No, wait, that's not right. He's a bit more handsome than me. Even his walk is more arrogant than mine. My walk looks like someone who owes $1 billion, while his walk looks like someone who has $1 billion in savings. Did I get harassed by debt collectors so much that I'm hallucinating? Or is it because I owe too much that God thought I was pitiful and sent a body double to suffer in my place? The guy scanned his card and entered the apartment complex. I instinctively followed right behind him. Just as I reached the gate, the security guard reached out to stop me. Who are you looking for? I live here. Didn't you just walk inside? That was my twin brother. The security guard froze for a moment, taking advantage of his confusion. I slipped past him into the apartment complex, following behind that guy to continue tracking him. Later that night, that guy was making a phone call in the stairwell corridor. Intermittent sounds echoed out. That Fan guy's credit report, I already got it. He's an ultimate blacklisted user who owes a whole $1 billion yuan. Even if we add another 30 million, no one will notice. Yeah, the inside man at Tingshan Bank has already handled it. The money laundering channel goes through Lord Ju. Rest assured. It's completely flawless. He made a gesture, reaching up to touch his face as if verifying something. Verifying who he is, or verifying who he has ultimately turned into. I held up my phone and recorded this segment, then walked over and knocked on the door. Brother, that's a nice plastic surgery job. How much did it cost? Is there a group buy price? Who the hell are you? You identity thefted me to borrow money, yet you don't even know who I am. Bro, your homework preparation is way too lacking. What do you want? What do I want? You got plastic surgery to look like me. Used my name to take out a 30 million RMB loan. And now you're asking me what I want, Bob. Bro, did you think that because someone is an ultimate blacklisted user, nobody cares about them? Your credit is already pitch black anyway. Even if we add another 30 million on top, the bank won't even notice. This has absolutely zero impact on you. You're wrong, the bank noticed. The people from Tingshin. Bank just came today and kicked my door open. For that 30 million case, the court already sent a summons. And you're telling me it has no impact. Right now, I don't even dare to buy instant noodles just fearing the judge will sentence me for high-end luxury consumption. Also, the fat guy who kicked my door down is named Joe Hai, the debt recovery department manager of Tingshin Bank. He's currently demanding this 30 million from me. Guess how he'll treat you if he finds you. When he kicked the door, he didn't even bother to take off his shoes. Do you think I could pull off this kind of thing alone? The one backing me is Lord Jew. He only handles deals worth hundreds of millions. If you dare to mess around with hundreds of millions, then since I owe $1 billion, can he help pay it off for me? Are you out of your mind? I'm not out of my mind. I'm buried in $1 billion yuan of debt. My credit is pitch black. I got cloned by someone else. And I'm even being hunted by the bank. With a life like this, any normal person would have jumped off a building long ago. Yet I can still sit here and flex on you. This is what you call grand wisdom. Go back and tell Lord Jew. I won't look for trouble with him. But you guys better stop using my name to play games. A blacklisted user like me is already black enough. I don't need you guys adding any more filters to it. Stepping out of Yanjiang Haoyuan. I didn't go back to my rental room, but went straight to an internet cafe to find Little Fat. You met that guy? Met him. He said the one standing behind him is Lord Jew. Lord Jew, brother, the guy you're talking about couldn't be Zhao Ju, right? You know him. Of course, who in the streets doesn't know Zhao Ju? On the surface, he does commercial trading. But in reality, he's the big boss of the underground loan shark world. He specializes in helping people launder money, fake credit, and run identity theft loans. Word is, the money passing through his hands is at least this much. 5 billion yuan. I owe 1 billion and 5 billion passes through his hands. Suddenly, I feel like standing in front of him, I'm just like an intern, brother Bao. You're not planning to look for Lord Jew, are you? What would I look for him for? A blacklisted debtor like me, looking for him just to drink tea. Then what do you plan to do? He messed with my credit. So I'm going to mess with his people. Bro, you're being serious, right? I already owe 1 billion yuan. What else could I possibly be joking about the next day? Before I could even go look for Lord Jew, Zhou Hai had already invited me straight to Tingshin Bank. What have you found out? So far, answer me one question first. Does your bank have an insider colluding with Chao Tian? Right quote pipe. Little Fat had helped me dig it up. Chao Tian didn't actually have any acquaintances at Tingshin Bank. But the approval process for that 30 million loan went through incredibly fast. From submitting the application to the payout, it took a mere 2 days. This proves that someone on the inside had given him the green light. Indeed, within our bank's internal staff, someone leaked customer credit information, but I don't know who it is. So what did you come to me for? To have you help me find that mole. Me help you? What can a blacklisted user like me even help with? Well, helping is fine and all, but your bank has to unlock my public sharing bike app first. What? I'm currently under consumption restrictions. I can't even scan the code for a public sharing bike. You want me to work for you, but expect me to walk bull. Here is our bank's public bike sharing perk card. Deal. Back at the rental room, I took the whiteboard I just squeezed out of Zhou Hai and hung it on the wall. Little Fat video called me. Brother, what are you drawing? This is Chao Tian, this is Lord Jew, and this is the bank mole. 3 points, 1 straight line. Why did you draw the arrows so straight? Why? The 3 points aren't even on a straight line. Why do you care? As long as the logic is right, it's fine, brother. With your investigative skills, it's such a waste that you didn't become a cop. Become a cop. A blacklisted debtor like me can't even pass the exam for a neighborhood watch guard. Last time I saw a job posting for a security guard, they actually required a credit check. Do you know how despairing that is? Even security guard jobs won't take you T. So how do you plan to investigate? Let's start with Chao Tian. Help me hack into Chao Tian's phone and see where he goes every day. Brother, this is breaking the law. Before when you Hacked into other people's computers, or why didn't you cry about breaking the law? How is that the same call? That was for justice. This time is also for justice. Justice owes me 1 billion yuan. I'm just looking for it to collect a little interest. That's not too much to ask, right? Little Fat was convinced by me. 10 minutes later, he sent over a batch of data. Cao Tian goes to a place called Yalan Club every Wednesday night. Brother, do you want to go there? Of course, why wouldn't I, sir? Tomorrow I have to go meet this Lord Jew and check things out. In the evening, I dusted off the suit buried at the bottom of my chest to go to Yalan Club. Outside, all kinds of luxury supercars were parked. Stepping into the lobby, a waiter came over and led me to a table. I opened the first page of the menu and almost fainted. A glass of whiskey was 38,000 RMB. Is it really that expensive, sir? What would you like to drink? Give me this one. Sir, this is the cheapest alcohol at our place. 380 yuan a glass. So what if it's the cheapest key? I owe 1 billion yuan. Whichever alcohol I drink is a win. 380 yuan versus 3,800. Yuan makes absolutely no difference to me. Anyway, it's not like I can pay it off. Put it on my tab. The waiter probably thought my card was some VIP black card or something. He glanced at it and put it away. After the alcohol was served, I took a sip and asked the waiter as if casually, "Does Lord Jew come here often?" "Sir, it's not convenient for us to disclose customer information. I'm not a narc. I just want to see if I can meet him. I owe him money, so I have to meet him to pay it back. I absolutely will not disclose to you that Lord Jew is in VIP room VITA tonight." "Got it, thanks." I walked along the corridor to find VIP room VITA, took a deep breath, and pushed the door open. Without changing my expression, I held up my phone and took a photo, capturing all 7 or 8 people in the room into the frame. "Who is Lord Jew? I owe 1 billion yuan, and want to find you to help pay off this debt of 1 billion. Kid, you've got a lot of nerve. You say you owe 1 billion ta. How did you owe it? Failed startup. Partner ran away with the money suppliers demanding payment. And banks foreclosing. A textbook bankruptcy process. Do you need me to write a summary report? Bah, you sure are casual about it. All of you get out. You know who I am, right? Zhaoju, known as Lord Jew in the streets. He's the boss of the loan shark world with at least 5 billion passing through his hands. By the way, just letting you know, your underling Cao Tian used my identity to borrow 30 million RMB from Tingshin Bank. You know about this, right, Ma? I know. This old guy is indeed an old-school mobster. If he did it, he admits it. Admitting it without talking in circles, much better than my runaway partner. What do you want? Cao Tian also asked this question before, and my answer remains exactly the same. Stop using my name to play these games. A blacklisted user like me is already miserable enough. I don't need you adding any more fuel to the fire. What if I say no? Then you can help me see if this 1 billion debt can use financial leverage to turn it into 2 billion. Anyway, there's no way to pay it back. A little more or a little less makes no difference. This arrogant, fearless attitude of yours is very much like me when I was young. Regarding the matter of Cao Tian, using your identity to borrow money, I can handle it for you, but you have to grant me one thing. What thing? Shut your mouth. Just that is that it. Don't call the police, don't spread it around. Just act as if nothing happened. As for that 1 billion debt of yours, I can also think of a way to help you resolve it. What way? My business needs some people to act as guarantors. Anyway, you're already a blacklisted debtor. Carrying a few more debts won't matter. Every month I will transfer money to you, and you help me cycle the cash flow. He wants to use my identity to launder money. Anyway, my credit is already black. Having a few more criminal records doesn't seem to make a difference. But owing money and committing a crime are two completely different things, Lord Jew. You just said carrying a few more debts won't matter, but you've mistaken one thing. Owing money is a civil matter while committing a crime is a criminal one. I might be blacklisted, but I'm not stupid. Do you think a blacklisted debtor, like you can actually do anything to me? I can't, but I can make you go down with me. From the moment you talked about the matter of Cao Tian using my identity to borrow money and how you could help handle it, to how you wanted me to carry the debt. For you, I've recorded all of it. If you dare to do it, why wouldn't I dare? Lord Jew, remember this well. A blacklisted debtor like me has absolutely nothing to lose. No money, no house, no car, and 0 credit. And since I'm not even scared of owing a whole 1 billion yuan, what the hell do you think I'd still be afraid of? If you don't mess with me, I won't mess with you. If you mess with me, I'll leak this recording straight to the police. After all, in their eyes, You're the real big fish. Kid, you better think this through carefully. I Zhaoju always mean what I say. Then let's see. Who has more guts? Not bad, kid. You've got backbone. Men escort him back. I thought Lord Ju would find a way to get revenge. But as it turned out, absolutely nothing happened. On the 5th day, Lord Ju sent someone to pick me up. Back at Yellen Club again. Have a seat. The reason I brought you here this time is that I want to cooperate with you. What cooperation? Help me do one thing. Once it's done, that 1 billion yuan debt of yours, I'll help you pay off half. It was truly highly tempting. I'd been in debt for 3 years and couldn't even pay off 5 million RMB. Yet now someone was saying they could help me pay off a whole 500 million. What thing? I have a rival named Chen Shiji, who works in finance. He has a client list of mine in his hands. Help me get that list back. Because you're a blacklisted debtor, nobody will pay attention to you. Furthermore, you're very smart. Why, way smarter than my henchman. Lord, you let me ask you one question. If I help you get that list, will you really help me pay off 500 million RMB? I Zhaoju always mean what I say. Even if I can't settle it myself. There's someone else who can settle it for you. Then help me unlock the public sharing bike first. What? I'm restricted from high-end consumption. I can't even scan the code for a public sharing bike. You want me to work for you, but you can't expect me to walk right fine, small matter. That night, stepping out of Yellen Club, I rode the public sharing bike back. My mind was entirely filled with Lord Ju's words about always meaning what he says. Only people with a guilty conscience have to keep emphasizing over and over that they keep their word. I pulled over to the side of the road, pulled out my phone and sent Little Fat a message. Dig deeper into Lord Ju for me, not just the surface level stuff. I want to know who he contacts, where the money comes from and where it goes. Brother Fan, are you planning to strip Lord Ju down to his underwear? He messed with my credit first, so me stripping him down to his underwear is only fair. Little Fat occupied the most hidden corner slot in the internet cafe. The 3 computer monitors in front of him were running simultaneously. When I pushed the door and walked in, he was in a fierce battle with a firewall. Brother, you're here. I've dug up a few things. You definitely won't expect this. Let's hear it. Lord Ju is the legal representative on paper for 3 trading companies. But all 3 of these companies are shell companies. The actual core capital runs through a completely different line. Look right here, on the 15th of every month. The accounts of these 3 companies all transfer money out to an overseas account. The amount fluctuates from 30 million to 100 million RMB. And the ultimate beneficiary of that overseas account is someone named Li Shuming, meaning Li Shuan. Who that is, I don't know. I tried searching for this name, but couldn't find any information at all. No social media accounts, no immigration history, and not even a phone number. This person exists like an invisible ghost. Can't catch them, but I found out one thing instead. Dug up. What vertical bar, where that overseas fund ultimately drifted to. Take a guess. Don't keep me in suspense. This fund ultimately flows into the account of a student at a top-tier academy, used to cover tuition and living expenses. $80,000 a year for tuition, $5,000 for living expenses. Brother, take a guess at what this student's name is. What's the name? Chen Shubai. 28 years old, currently a PhD student in financial engineering. Outstanding academic performance, highly regarded by professors. Furthermore, in his family background column, it says, Mother Li Shuan, retired teacher. Father deceased, a retired teacher. A child of a retired teacher doing a PhD at MIT, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. This is even faker than your credit report. Plus, I couldn't find the direct contact person for Lord Ju. Then keep investigating. Look into Li Shuan's social circles. Find out where she lives and look into who she associates with. Brother, you're pushing me to my limit. I haven't slept for 3 days. Brother, this 50 yuan of yours isn't even enough for a single day of internet cafe fees, and you expect to treat me to spicy sticks for a whole week. Then what do you want? Once it's done, you treat me to a real meal and not KFC. The kind of restaurant that costs over 500 yuan per person. I'm in 1 billion yuan of debt, and you're making me treat you to a 500 yuan meal. You're the one pushing me to my limit. How about 300 yuan deal, Salah? I got back home, pushed the door open and found the room had been completely ransacked. The computer tower was torn open and the hard drive was missing again. Do these people think my crappy rental room hides some kind of treasure? Vault walking over to the desk. I noticed the computer monitor was still on. I saw a bank transfer interface on it, showing that at 3 p.m. today, a sum of 50 million RMB from an overseas account had been transferred into my bank card and was then forwarded to over 20 other accounts. Bro, this absolute potato PC vertical bar of mine lags even when playing Minesweeper. You guys used it to launder money. Weren't you afraid the system would crash? Hello, may I ask how I can help you? Hello? I'm B-Fan. I want to ask a quick question. Did my account have a transfer of 50 million yuan today? Sir, your account today indeed had a sum of 50 million yuan transferred in blah and a sum of 50 million transferred out. Then let me ask, do I need to pay taxes on this money? Furthermore, this 50 million wasn't earned by me. Someone else used my account to launder money. Do I need to pay taxes on this middleman transaction? Personal income tax, business tax, or any other kind of tax? Sir, I am the Risk Control Department Manager of the bank. We have logged the situation you mentioned. May I ask if you have called the police? Not yet. I just wanted to ask about the tax payment first. After all, I'm a blacklisted debtor who already owes 1 billion yuan. Suddenly having a 50 million RMB transaction flow through Pua, I'm afraid the tax bureau will come after me. Sir, I advise you to immediately report this to the police because based on money obtained through illegal means doesn't need to be taxed, sir. Well, that's great then. Thanks. Cao Tian used my computer to launder money. This proves two things. First, Lord Zhu has decided to make a move on me. Second, they aren't afraid of me calling the cops. If I call the cops, the first reaction from the police will probably be wondering if I'm just trying to ditch my debt. But I'm going to call the cops anyway. After doing that, I carried 2 cups of soy milk and showed up at Joe Hai's office. You went through all the trouble of coming here just to give me this. No, I came to let you know who the mole inside your bank is. You claim there's a mole, where's the evidence? Bah. When Cao Tian used my computer to launder money, he left behind an IP address that traces directly back to your bank's intranet. The login account belongs to Madong. Ma Dong has followed me for 5 years. When his wife gave birth to their second child, I personally approved his leave. When his son was sick, I advanced the hospital fees. What does 5 years even mean, Ma? I've been in debt for 3 years and even got cloned by someone else. This is just a small scene for you. Bifan, you really are a very strange guy. You owe 1 billion, your credit is pitch black. You got identity theft, Ed, framed with a money laundering trap and threatened by loan sharks. Any normal person would have broken down long ago, yet you can still sit here drinking soy lao milk. Manager Joe, do you know why I haven't broken down there? It's exactly because I already owe 1 billion yuan. When you owe such a massive amount of money, you'll realize that every other problem is just a minor inconvenience. Getting identity thefted for a loan, small matter. Getting trapped in money laundering, small matter. Getting threatened by people, too, small matter. It's because I've already experienced the biggest disaster in life. Owing 1 billion yuan with absolutely no way to pay it back. So what do you plan to do? Madong is your guy. Are you going to handle him or should I? I'll handle him, but you have to help me. Manager Joe, you're a high-level manager at a bank. Yet you're collaborating with a blacklisted debtor like me. If word about this gets out, you're finished. Don't worry, once I'm finished, we can be blacklisted debtors together. They shook hands. If someone wrote this into a script, no one would believe it. But that's exactly my life. Back to business, Manager Joe. Let's talk seriously. What do you plan to do? Here is a fake credit report I had Little Fat make. On here it shows that under my name there is still a hidden debt of 50 million RMB. It's an internal loan from an overseas bank that hasn't been updated on the credit system yet. If Ma Dong finds out about this information, he will definitely report it to Lord Zhu. Lord Zhu will make Cao Tian use my identity again to borrow money. How do you know Ma Dong will believe it? Because in this report there is a specific detail. The risk control manager of that bank is named Chen Shubai, PhD in financial engineering from MIT, who is very likely Lord Zhu's main contact person. If Ma Dong sees Chen Shubai's name, he will treat this as insider information and report it back to Lord Zhu. Lord Zhu will feel there is a loophole to exploit and have Cao Tian take action once more. Bifan, what line of work were you in before fintech? No wonder you finance guys have such black hearts. I owe 1 billion yuan, you know. If my heart wasn't black, how could I survive? All right, the plan is locked. But Ma Dong is a very cautious guy. Following me for 5 years without exposing himself proves he has a very high awareness against investigation. This also means we only have one single opportunity. If we startle the snake, he will immediately tuck his tail and crawl back in. So I plan to have you make a scene at the bank. This kind of thing is right down my alley. In the afternoon, wearing a faded, worn-out shirt, I stepped into the lobby of Tingshan Bank. I walked straight up to the service counter, slamming the court summons hard onto the granite countertop. I want to see your higher-ups. Wow, someone used my name to borrow 30 million RMB. Now the court summons has been sent straight to my house. How does your bank even do business in the lobby? Over a dozen customers simultaneously turned to look at me. The teller was scared, completely pale, hastily making a phone call. Less than 3 minutes later, the elevator doors opened and Ma Dong walked out from inside. Sir, if there's an issue, you can talk to me. I'm the assistant manager here. Your bank had someone use my identity to borrow a sum of 30 million RMB. I need an explanation. Mr. Bifan, please follow me to the office to talk. It's not convenient here. Mr. Bai, you say someone identity thefted you to borrow money. Do you have any proof? I pulled a stack of documents out of my bag and spread them across the desk, intentionally flipping the report to the final page, exposing the name Chen Shubai. This is my credit report. It lists all of my debts. That 30 million one from your bank is fundamentally not on here. This proves that loan wasn't processed by me. Mr. Bai, we need to verify this report. Could you go home and wait for news first? Wait. I can't wait. The court opens the trial in 3 days. If you guys don't give me a proper explanation, I will go find reporters. I owe 1 billion and I'm not even scared. Do you think I'm afraid of going to court with your bank? I stood up in a rage, shoving the pile of documents back into my bag, but intentionally left the fake credit report behind, on the chair. After I left, Zhou Hai, who was in the surveillance room, had already arranged 2 people to monitor Ma Dong's workstation from 3 different angles. At 4 p.m., a voice message from Little Fat flew in. Brother Fan. Cao Tian took action. He just submitted a loan application on the bank's system. The amount is 50 million, still using your identity info. What about Ma Dong P? Ma Dong's account just approved this loan. Brother, a normal approval. Process takes at least 2 days. It took him a mere 41 seconds to approve it. Got it. I'll call Zhou Hai. In the afternoon, as I rushed into the bank frantically, Cao Tian was sitting in front of the loan counter, waiting to sign the paperwork. The moment he saw me, his face turned white as a sheet. I walked straight up to the counter and slammed my phone hard onto the desk, slammed his phone hard onto the table. This surveillance camera footage has recorded the entire process of Ma Dong making phone calls in the office. What he said was Lord Ju. The name Chen Shubai has already appeared on Bifan's credit report. That 50 million sum can now be moved on. Ma Dong, you followed me for 5 years. I never expected you would betray me for money. Zhou Hai, do you really think I did this for money? Bifan, do you still remember 3 years ago, when your fintech company went bankrupt, how many people were forced into financial ruin? My older brother, Ma Kuang, poured all of his life savings into your company. 1.2 million RMB all gone down the drain. He's 53 years old this year, yet he still has to move bricks. At construction sites, I don't hate you because you owe money I hate. That you're buried in debt yet still live so proudly. Ma Dong, what more nonsense are you talking about? Men take Ma Dong away from me. This matter isn't to blame on you, nor is it to blame on me. If I owe money, I must pay it back. Whether it's 1 billion or 1.2 million, that is ultimately all my debt. Ma Dong wasn't a bad person. He was just a younger brother pushed into a corner, using his own methods to demand justice for his brother. But his method was wrong. Owing money means you must pay it back, that is common sense. But using a crime to avenge a crime is something that will never be right. On the 3rd night after teaming up with Zhou Hai to send the mole packing, I received a call from Zhou Hai. B. Fan, get down to the bank right now. Manager Joe, it's 11 p.m. right now. I can't even scan the code for a public sharing bike. What do you expect me to travel with? I'll come pick you up. Send your location. I sent my location over. In less than 20 minutes, a black Audi parked right under my rental building. I got into the car without saying a word. The car drove for about 10 minutes, stopping in front of a street food stall that hadn't closed yet. Zhou Hai ordered 2 bowls of wontons. I looked at the food on the table. Manager Joe, a high-level manager at a bank like you, is actually treating me to a street stall. Bifan. Do you know what happened after Ma Dong was taken away? What happened? Headquarters sent people down to investigate that very night. Not to investigate Ma Dong, but to investigate me. They said, an assistant manager followed me for 5 years. Yet I was completely unaware that he was helping someone launder money. Either I'm completely incompetent, or I'm an accomplice. An accomplice? If you were an accomplice, you wouldn't have asked me to help you find the mole. Headquarters doesn't care. They've taken all my client files, frozen my authority, and suspended me from work to cooperate with the investigation. I've worked for 15 years moving up, from a counter teller all the way to a manager. 15 years of hard work. And perhaps because of this single incident, it's all gone down the drain. Do you regret it? Regret what? Regret asking me to help you find the mole. If you pretended not to know, then Ma Dong's business might never have been discovered. You would still be your manager, Bob, and headquarters wouldn't have come down to investigate. Bifan. Do you know why people call me the iron-faced Yama? I heard your debt collection methods aren't exactly clean, right? Not clean. I've hired people to splash paint and put glue in keyholes, and even beat people up. But I have never crossed one specific line. I don't touch dirty money. Ma Dong got his hands dirty. Since he got his hands dirty under my watch, it's my problem. If I pretended not to know, how would I be any different from those loan sharks out there? Zhou clinked his glass with mine. Cheers to you for your integrity and not touching dirty money. Bifan, you know what? Before this, I utterly despised you. A guy who owes 1 billion yuan, in my eyes, is just the scum of society. I've been in debt, recovery for 15 years, and have met way too many people like you, running away with cash, ditching debts, hiding assets, and faking poverty. I used to think you were just like them. But now I see you're not like that crowd. You're actually poor, not faking it. Furthermore, you didn't run, didn't ditch it, and didn't fake anything. You owe 1 billion C, but you are still continuing to pay it back. Even if you can only pay back 100 RMB a year. What do you call that, huh? It's called backbone. Stop praising me, my skin is very thin. One more compliment and I'll fly right into the sky, Bifan. I might be about to get dismissed. Dismissed? Plow. Is it really that serious? At best, it's dismissal. At worst. Let's not talk about it anymore. If you get dismissed, what do you plan to do? I don't know. Having worked in banking for 15 years, I don't know how to do anything else. You know how to collect debts. Your title as the iron-faced Yama. Who in the streets doesn't know it? What do you mean? I mean, if you get fired by the bank, come find me. I'll teach you how to do live streaming. Live streaming to teach people how to deal with debt collection. How to maintain your mindset when you're buried in debt. And how to negotiate with banks. You've done debt recovery for 15 years. And I've been a blacklisted debtor for 3 years. The two of us, one is the spear, and the other is the shield. A perfect combination. For a practical course on debt recovery and anti-debt collection. Guaranteed to be an absolute hit. He laughed out loud. Laughter. Laughter. Bifan, you truly are a worthy rival. I'm literally about to get dismissed, yet you're inviting me to go live stream with you. Hey, isn't that better than you staying bitter at the bank? At the bank, you get suppressed by headquarters every day, cursed at by clients, and betrayed by your juniors. Follow me to do live streaming. You're the iron-faced Yama, and I'm the blacklisted godfather. The two of us will debut as a duo. I've even thought of the name. The Black and White Twin Slayers. Bifan, what if I don't get dismissed? Then you just keep being your manager, but don't forget vertical bar. You owe me a round of drinks. Tonight's treat is on me, next time it's your turn. But I'm very poor, so I can only treat you to steamed buns. Bifan. No matter what the outcome is, this friend, I've definitely made. Zhou stood up to pay the bill. That night I rode in Zhou's car back to my rental room. 1 month later, the results of the headquarters investigation came out. Zhou was proven innocent of any involvement in that money laundering case. But he couldn't escape management responsibility. He was given a major demerit, demoted to assistant manager of the department, and kept on a 1-year probation. When he called to tell me this news, there wasn't a hint of depression in his voice. On the contrary, it carried a sense of relief, like a weight had been lifted. Bifan, our plan to debut the Black and White Twin Slayers will have to be pushed back. No worries, I can wait. After all, it's going to take me another 10,000 years to pay off my debt. The whole thing temporarily settled down. 2 days later, an anonymous letter was placed in my drafty rental room. Little Fat saw the letter over the video call, his eyes popping out like saucers. Brother Fan, this letter says the old master wants to meet you at Guanlin Pavilion. That's the most expensive restaurant in Shanghai City. The minimum spending is 8,000 yuan per person. 8,000 oro. Then I'd have to starve for 3 days just to dare eat there. Actually, even if I starved for 3 days, I still wouldn't have the money to eat. Brother Ma, you're not seriously going right. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I? Someone else is paying. It'd be a waste not to go. This is clearly a trap banquet. Even a trap banquet is still a feast. The last time I had a proper meal was 3 years ago before the company went bankrupt. Back then I treated clients to dinner, and a single meal cost 30,000 yuan. Thinking back on it now, if I had kept that 30,000 yuan, I could have lived comfortably for 3 whole years. The next day, wearing my faded old suit, I stood outside Guanlin Pavilion. I was led into a private room by a waiter, where I saw an extremely elegant old lady sitting there. You are the old master. That's what they all call me. Aren't you afraid? To be honest, I'm a little scared, but I'm not afraid of you killing me. I'm afraid of you making me pay the bill. A single meal in this place costs 8,000 RMB. I can't afford it. You really are exactly like what Jewer said. Very interesting. Jewer, you mean Lord Jew? Yes, he's one of my men. And you threw him into prison. He broke the law. What does that have to do with me? I know he was too impatient. I warned him a long time ago. Be cautious in your actions. But he didn't listen. You called me here. Surely it's not just to chit-chat, right? Of course not. Bifan, I want to make a deal with you. Again, Lord Jew also said he wanted to cooperate with me. And it turned out he wanted to frame me. Now this old lady says she wants to make a deal. Is the next step planning to dump me into the ocean? What deal, sir? Here is a check for 1 billion yuan. As long as you promise me one thing, this check will be yours. You can wipe out all your debts, restore your credit history, and start your life over. What do you want me to do? It's very simple. Shut your mouth and stop investigating. Jewer has already been locked up by you anyway. Let this matter end here. Old master, I won't accept this money. Why? Because your money is filthy. A blacklisted debtor who owes 1 billion like you actually dares to talk about integrity with me. That's right. The money I owe is from my own failed startup and from being scammed by my business partner. I willingly take responsibility for every single cent. But your money is laundered money, scammed money, obtained by harming others. My credit might be pitch black, sorry, but I still have my boundaries. Bifan, do you know what the consequences of refusing me are? I do. You'll retaliate against me. But you have absolutely nothing left to threaten me with. My credit is already blacklisted, and there is exactly 0 left in my bank card, not even a single yuan. My rental room only costs 400 yuan a month. What can you take away? Take away my public sharing bike. Oh, right. That privilege was already locked by your people. Bifan. Do you really think you've won, Wall? I don't think I've won. I just think your son deserves to know the truth. Do you know why Zhao Ju listens to me? It's not because I'm his boss. It's because I'm far more ruthless than him. You think holding a single recording is enough to threaten me? You think if you go find my son, I'll be afraid of you? I have no intention of threatening you. You're just what, Ma? You're just a blacklisted debtor who owes 1 billion yuan. You can't even take care of yourself. Yet you want to play savior to my son. Who do you think you are? Some kind of messiah. Old master, you're right. I am a blacklisted debtor who owes 1 billion yuan. And I can't even afford to ride a public sharing bike. But what about you? You have money and power. And thugs like Zhao Ju risking their lives for you. But do you sleep well at night? Your son is currently studying at MIT. He has no idea his mother is a money launderer. He thinks every single cent from his mother is clean. Money. You've lied to him for 28 years. Think about it if one day he sees the news of your arrest on TV. What will he think? He will hate you for the rest of his life. Shut your mouth. My son doesn't need your money. He needs a clean mother. Every single cent you have right now is filthy. You sent him abroad, not for his own good, but for your own sake. You don't want him to know the dirty things that you are doing, all because you're afraid he will despise you. Bifan, if you say one more word, I will make sure you never walk out of this door. Old master, I'm a man who already owes 1 billion yuan. What do you think I still have left to fear? If you dump me into the ocean today, tomorrow the news will blow up with headers like vertical bar, blacklisted debtor Bifan mysteriously missing, suspected silenced by loan shark syndicate. Your son will see this news. He will look into it, and he will find out absolutely everything. What do you think he'll think then? Get the hell out. Stepping out of Guanlin Pavilion, my mind was filled with 1,000 tangled thoughts. Back home, I sought out Little Fat. Find the old master's son's email address for me. Brother Fan, what are you planning to do? Are you going to use her son to threaten her? It's not a threat. It's persuasion. We have to let him know exactly what his mother is doing. Brother Fan, are you planning to play mind games on? Your big bro calls this conquering people with virtues. Even though I'm a blacklisted debtor, my moral character isn't blacked out at all. Little Fat dug into it all night and sent me a bunch of documents the next morning. The old master's son is indeed Chen Shubai, which proves the person we were looking for has always been him. He had absolutely no idea about any of this. He hadn't even heard of Lord Ju's name. Oh, wow. If outsiders didn't know any better, they'd think he was her grandson instead of her son. He and his mother live in completely different worlds. Brother Fan, what are you planning to tell him? Sending an email is your English good enough? Not really. But I have translation software. Using my broken patched-up English, I wrote an email to Chen Shubai. The main idea was that his mother back home was involved in a severe financial crime case. I hoped he could return to the country to persuade her to turn herself in. After Little Fat read my email, he laughed so hard he choked. Brother Fan, this English level of yours is worse than my family dog's. My family doesn't even have a dog, because I don't have the money to feed one. After the email was sent, there was absolute silence for several days. I thought it had already sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Unexpectedly, a week later I received a reply email. Who are you? How do you know about my mother's business? My name is B. Fan, a blacklisted debtor who owes 1 billion yuan. Your mother's syndicate used my identity to launder money. You don't have to believe me, but just come back to the country and check, then you'll know. I see. I'll book the earliest flight back. 3 days later, Chen Shubai showed up in Xinhai City. He and I sat in a tea house. Is everything you said really true? Look at what brand of clothes your mother wears, how much the house she lives in costs, and how much money she has in her bank savings. Have you ever calculated it, a retired old lady? With no job and no business investments, where would she get so much money? I always thought it was left by my father. Your father passed away when you were 10 years old. How much money he left behind, aren't you clear about it in your heart? Let's go, I'll take you to see something. In front of the courthouse, Zhou Hai helped us arrange a spot in the visitor gallery. Chen Shubai sat in the gallery, watching Lord Ju being escorted into the courtroom. The moment Lord Ju saw Chen Shubai, his expression instantly changed. Shubai, why are you here? Uncle Ju, I should be the one asking you this question. The trial ended. Chen Shubai went back home. He stood in the living room looking at the old lady. Mother, why did you do this? Shubai, why did you come back? Someone already told me the truth. Mother, are you laundering money? Are you committing crimes? Or I did all of this for you. I don't need a future like this. I don't need illegal money to fund my education. I don't want to live in a house like this. I'd rather you be a street sweeper outside Bao. At least you'd be clean. Mother, stop it. Old master, your son is right. If you stop now, there's still a chance for leniency. Once the police show up at your door, it'll be too late. Bifan, why are you doing this? Because even though I'm a blacklisted debtor, I still have a conscience. Your son is a good guy. Don't make him take the fall for your crimes. Fine, I'll turn myself in. After the old master turned herself in, the case officially entered the judicial process. The trial concluded. I sat on a long bench outside the court corridor, waiting for the verdict. Zhou Hai sat right next to me. Little Fat called on the video screen. Brother Tao, how many years do you think they'll get? Lord, you will get at least 20 years. Tao, Cao Tian 15 years or more. And Ma Dong 5 to 8 years. As for the old lady, it's hard to say. Do you think that old lady is pitiful? Pitiful. But the things she did cannot be forgiven just because she's pitiful. Ultimately, Zhao Ju was convicted of money laundering. Combining his sentences, he was given 20 years in prison and fined 500 million RMB. Cao Tian was sentenced to 12 years in prison. The court also ruled on my identity theft case, stating that the 30 million RMB loan had absolutely nothing to do with me. The case was closed. I requested permission to visit Cao Tian. Cao Tian, I came to visit you. Are you here to mock me? No, I want to ask you something. I'm very curious. Why did you get plastic surgery to look exactly like me? Back then there were so many ways. There was no need for surgery. You could have easily made a fake ID and used someone else's name to borrow money. Why did it have to be me, B-Fan? Do you really not remember me? We've actually met before 3 years ago, before your fintech company went bankrupt. I came to see you. Do you still remember? Silence. You probably forgot long ago. Back then you rejected my entire project. Do you know what those words meant to me? For that project, I took out 5 million RMB in loan shark debt. I thought you were a successful entrepreneur. I thought you would understand me, but instead you said, if you're even fooling yourself, how are you going to fool others? Maybe I did say that. Back then I was riding high. My career was booming, the company was valued at 1 billion yuan. And every day I rejected countless people begging for funding. How could I possibly remember a young man whom I had rejected? The project failed, and the loan sharks chased me with knives. I ran away for a whole year hiding like a rat, sleeping under bridges, and scavenging through trash cans. Later on, I went to work for Lord Ju, doing jobs for him. One day, Lord Ju said he needed to borrow someone's identity to launder money, someone whose credit was black and miserable enough to not attract attention. The first person I thought of was you. So you wanted to ruin me? I wanted to become you. Do you know what the first thing I did was after getting surgery to look like you? I took a trip to your old company. That office building was still there, but your company was long gone. I stood downstairs, looked up at that sign that had already been replaced, wow, and thought to myself, I've finally made it. You're truly insane. Yes, I'm insane, but at least I know why I went crazy. Do you know why you owe 1 billion yuan? It's because you were too arrogant. You thought rejecting my project was for my own good. You thought saying those words was for my own good? You were just flexing and showing off. Showed off that you have money, a company, and the right to look down on others, be fine. Do you know what I hated most about you these past 3 years? It wasn't because you called my project a scam, but because you are clearly buried in 1 billion yuan of debt, yet you still live so proudly and confidently. You ride a public sharing bike, eat a 2.5 yuan bun, and live in a 400 yuan a month rental room. But you don't feel pitiful at all. I got surgery to look like you, went to the bank to borrow money, threw cash around at clubs, and dined at high-end restaurants. Whenever people saw me, they respectfully called me Mr. Zhang, but I am not you, and I will never ever become you. Cao Tian, you're right. Before this, I was too arrogant. When I rejected you, I was indeed just flexing. Only after carrying this 1 billion yuan debt on my back, did I understand a certain truth. When you succeed, you think you're the center of the universe. Only when you fail do you realize you're absolutely nothing. It's not that I live proudly and confidently. It's just that I've learned to accept it. When you dare to admit your mistakes, you will no longer be afraid. Cao Tian got surgery to look like me, not because he hated me, but because he desperately wanted to be the arrogant me from the past. I hung up the phone and walked out of the detention center, thinking my life would return to its original track. But unexpectedly, an unpredicted twist occurred. That day, Little Fat jumped up and down on the video screen. Brother Fan, you're trending top 1 on the trending tab. The headline is, Blacklisted Debtor Owing 1 Billion Destroys Loan Shark Syndicate. 300 million views, 200,000 discussions. Because of this incident, I became an internet sensation. Even the variety show animeviral sent me an invitation. I didn't refuse. At the studio of animeviral, I stood on the stage, facing several guests and judges. Fan the debate. Topic for today is vertical bar. Is having a blacklisted credit history a good thing or a bad thing? What do you think? To me, it's a good thing, because no one will ever dare to lend me money again. So you don't feel that having a blacklisted credit history is very painful. Painful, of course it's painful. But what's painful isn't the blacklisted credit, it's being buried in debt. Blacklisted credit is just the result of debt. It is not the cause. I owe a whole 1 billion yuan, so it'd be weird if my credit wasn't blacklisted. Then do you have any words for the audience? Blacklisted credit isn't scary. A black heart is what's truly scary. You can owe money, you can be poor, and you can be looked down upon by the world, but you absolutely cannot lose your bottom line and your own morality. I owe 1 billion yuan, but I will forever be myself. After that episode of animeviral climbed the trending list, my follower count skyrocketed. That goes without saying, but paparazzi started campouts right outside my rental room. And the most ridiculous thing was, a short video platform offered me a price buy, inviting me to host a live stream for 5,000 RMB. The last time I made 5,000 RMB was 3 years ago before the company went bankrupt. Back then, 5,000 RMB was just the cost of a single meal. But now it's worth 6 months of my life. There's no other way. A man living under someone else's roof has no choice but to bow his head. Hello everyone, I'm Fan, the famous blacklisted debtor who owes 1 billion yuan. Are you for real or joking? Are you just farming clout? If I knew how to farm clout to make it rain, I wouldn't be in debt in the first place. How much money have you paid back? This month I paid back 2,200 RMB. If I keep up this speed, I'll probably finish paying it off in about 45,000 years. So if you guys have kids, grandkids, or great-grandkids, you can tell them to follow me and check it out. When it's fully paid off, I'll visit you in your dreams to let you know, laughter. That night, my live stream went from 12 viewers straight to 2,000. It wasn't because I spoke well, but because someone screen recorded it and cut it into short videos, with the title, "A Man Owing a Billion Teaches You How to Live Life." The views reached up to 5 million. After Joe Hai was demoted, his office was moved from the 20th floor down to the 15th floor. The area shrank by half. I pushed the door open and walked in. Joe Hai was sitting there eating a boxed lunch. Manager Joe, wait, no. Assistant Manager Joe, eating lunch. Don't call me Assistant Manager. It sounds like I'm some fallen immortal banished to Earth. I watched your live stream. How was it? You call that a live stream? You just sat there slacking off and chit-chatting with people, without showing off any hidden talents. I owe a billion salt. That is already my biggest hidden talent, is our black and white twin slayers. Plan still on vertical bar. Are you asking seriously, Dead serious. Working here for 15 long years. Moving from a counter teller all the way to a manager, only to end up empty-handed overnight. I'd rather follow you to host live streams. Joe Hai, you're truly insane. You're a high-level bank manager. Yet you want to do live streaming. It'd be weird if your wife didn't beat you to death. My wife already said it. These past few years, I worked overtime every single day, to the point where the kids barely recognize my face anymore. She said if I can spend more time with the kids, it doesn't matter even if the salary is a bit lower. Then what about your mortgage? What about the car loan? The house is sold. Swapped it for a smaller one. I sold the car too, now I just ride an electric scooter. I've calculated it carefully, even if live streaming only makes 3,000 RMB a month. It's enough to get by. 3,000 Joe Hai. Before this, your monthly salary was 30,000 RMB. Can 30,000 compare to the joy and happiness of 3,000? Let me tell you, working in debt collection for 15 years, my biggest realization is, money is something you can't just force out by demanding it. But peaceful days are something you can live out yourself. Then let's walk the walk. I've already thought of the name long ago, the Black and White Twin Slayers, a practical course on debt recovery and anti-debt collection. You're the iron-faced Yama, and I'm the blacklisted Godfather. The two of us, one acts as the spear, the other as the shield, while teaching people how to collect debts. We also teach people how to deal with debt collectors, making money from both ends, that brain of yours. If you didn't start a business back then and went into sales instead, that 1 billion yuan debt would have been paid off long ago. Me in sales. My credit history is pitch black like this. It'd be a miracle if anyone bought anything from me. Joe Hai walked the walk. The very next day, he immediately submitted his resignation letter. Inside the small rental room, Joe Hai sat right next to me, wearing a casual outfit, his face completely serious. Dear audience, welcome to the Black and White Twin Slayers channel. Today is our very first episode. The topic is how to deal with debt collection calls. I'm Joe Hai, and I've been in the debt recovery business for 15 years. Today, along with B-Fan here, we will expose all the dirty tricks of the debt collection world for you. First of all, when collectors make phone calls, they love calling at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. the most. Why? Because those are the two times when you are the most relaxed, and also when your mental state is the weakest. That's right. In the past, whenever I received debt collection calls, just hearing words like overdue, breach of contract, and or credit history would make my head start buzzing completely. Later on, I gained some experience. Every single time the collectors called buy, I would just say, bro, I owe a whole billion yuan anyway. You guys better line up. Everyone don't copy him. He is an isolated case. When a normal person receives a debt collection call, the first rule is vertical bar. Absolutely do not panic. The second rule is do not hang up the phone. The third rule is you must record the call. I completely agree with recording. Back then it was precisely thanks to a recording that I sent Lord Jew to prison. Correct. Recording isn't for the sake of arguing, but to protect yourself. If a collector dares to say, if you don't pay today, I'll go straight to your workplace to find you, that is already evidence of illegal debt collection behavior. Comment. The two of you, one is a bank dog, teaming up to scam people for money, right? Bro, if I knew how to scam people for money, I wouldn't be buried in a billion yuan of debt. The money that I owe, Every single cent of it is from my failed business startup. I didn't run away with the cash, didn't hide assets, and didn't buy luxury apartments or cars. I live in a 400 yuan a month rental room, ride a public sharing bike, and eat a 2.5 yuan bun. The only person I ever lied to was myself. I lied to myself that my startup would definitely succeed. I can testify for him. I've checked his entire asset profile. There isn't a single damn thing under his name, and he doesn't even have a decent bank card to show for it. He is the poorest debtor I have ever met, and also the most honest one. Comment. Then why did you still go collect his debt? I used to collect it. I even kicked his door down once. But later on I realized there are some debts that will never be recovered. Not because the debtor doesn't want to pay, but because they literally have no way to dig up the money. Then what do you think a person like me should do? A person like you needs to keep living. As long as you're alive, even if you pay 100 yuan a year, you'll finish paying it off in 10,000 years. But if you die, there won't even be a single cent left. So my current perspective is, borrowing and paying back is common sense, but debt collectors must have boundaries. And debtors must have boundaries too. The live stream ended. Johai and I sat on the steps downstairs, each holding a bottle of mineral water. Bifan, do you think we are on the right path? How much is doing good worth anyway? The two of us are just a poor man's mutual aid society. You got demoted by the bank and had to quit while I'm buried in 1 billion yuan of debt. The two of us grouping up to hang out together is nothing more than two losers hugging each other for warmth. Yet you can still laugh about it. Laughter doesn't cost any money. Let me tell you something. When I was live streaming today, there was a comment I didn't read out loud. What comment? Someone said my father was driven to suicide by debt collectors. How many people can you guys actually save, B? Fan, in the past I always thought debt collection was just a job to put food on the table. I didn't care whether the methods were clean or dirty. As long as I got the money back, my mission was complete. But thinking back on it now, how many people actually have money but intentionally refuse to pay? And how many people are truly driven into a corner? Johai, do you know why I never hate debt collectors? Why? Because since I owed money, I deserved to be chased for it. That is my debt and I have to take responsibility for it. Therefore, this channel of ours isn't helping debtors ditch their debts, but it's helping both the collectors and the debtors find a solution so that both sides can keep living. All right, stop being so cheesy. What's tomorrow's live stream topic? Tomorrow, we'll talk about how to negotiate installment plans with banks. You come from a banking background, so you should present it. Me, if I talk about that, the banks will probably blacklist me instantly. Haha, you've already finalized leaving the industry anyway. Are you still afraid of getting blacklisted? Laughter. Haha, true indeed. Let's go my treat for steamed buns. Your treat. You only make 3,000 renminbi a month now, and you want to treat me to steamed buns. So what if it's 3,000? 3,000 is still hard-earned money from blood, sweat, and tears. Let's go. Later on, the Black and White Twin, Slayer's live stream channel, grew bigger and stronger. Johai was in charge of explaining debt collection tricks, while I was in charge of sharing the psychological state of debtors. Some people cursed at us for training people to ditch debts, but others shed tears because we literally saved their lives. We didn't make much money, but Johai said he finally stopped getting called in the middle of the night. As for me, I said I still have to keep taking phone calls because I still haven't fully paid off the money I owe. But that doesn't matter at all. Even with debt, I still have to live. As long as I'm alive, there's always a chance.